This is a video demonstration of the McMush Lab Part 1. For those of you who weren't present in class or maybe need a little bit of a refresher on what we did before you answer the lab questions. The purpose of this lab is to test 4 known solutions for 4 different biomolecules. Our known solutions are glucose, starch, protein, and oil. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going to be testing glucose tablets, just from the pharmacy, liquid starch, a protein shake, and vegetable oil. In order to test for these biomolecules, I'm going to use 4 tests. Benedict's solution tests for the presence of monosaccharides, such as glucose. Iodine tests for the presence of polysaccharides, such as starch. Burette tests for the presence of protein. And Sudan 3 tests for the presence of fats, such as oil. Okay. So the first part of this lab is placing 5 milliliters of the known solutions in each test tube. Test tube number 1 gets 5 milliliters of glucose solution. So I'm going to take my graduated cylinder and 5 milliliters of the glucose tablet crushed up in water. I'm going to measure it out. And pour that into test tube 1. Okay. Test tube 2 gets 5 milliliters of starch. So I'm going to measure out again with my graduated cylinder, 5 milliliters of starch solution. Okay. Test tube 3 gets 5 milliliters of protein shake. And test tube 4 gets 5 milliliters of vegetable oil. Okay. Now that I've placed 5 milliliters of each solution in the test tubes, I can add my testing materials. In test tube 1, again, we're going to use Benedict's solution, and we're going to place 10 drops of Benedict's into test tube 1 with the glucose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, this solution doesn't react instantly. It needs heat. And so we're going to place it in a hot water bath for just a few minutes while we do the other tests. Test tube 2 is starch, and that is tested with iodine. Notice that the iodine is a brown color to start with, but as soon as it comes in contact with the starch, it turns a purple color. Almost black. Okay. Test tube 3 is tested with Burette solution, and this one, sometimes it's a little hard to see the color, and so in class what I told you was you could add a little bit of extra, more than the 10 drops that was recommended. So I'm just going to put plenty of the Burette solution in here so we can really see this lavender color that it changes to. And I'm going to hold this up close to the camera at the end of the lab at the end of the lab demonstration so you can see this a little closer. Okay. Test tube 4 gets 10 drops of Sudan 3 to show the presence of the fat in the oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one we got to shake a little bit because oil does not like to mix with other substances. And it turns a pinkish orange. Okay. Now that we've let it heat up for a few minutes, test tube 1 is ready to look at. So I'm going to use my heat-resistant gloves and grab test tube 1. You can see that has changed from a blue to an orange color. And now I have 4 positive results for my 4 biomolecule tests. Just to review, test tube 1 was testing for the presence of monosaccharides such as glucose using Benedict solution, and it turned orange. Test tube 2 was testing for the presence of polysaccharides such as starch using iodine, and it turned a dark purplish black color. Test tube 3 was testing for the presence of protein in a protein shake using burette. It turned a lavender. And test tube 4 was testing for the presence of fats or lipids in vegetable oil using Sudan 3, and it turned a pinkish orange color. Now, like I said, I'm going to hold this up close to the camera so you can really see the color change of these 4 solutions. There you go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's it. You should have enough information now to answer your lab questions on the form. Also, all of these steps are written out in text on the form if that's something that makes a little bit more sense to you to understand what we did today. Tomorrow we'll be doing the McMush Part 2 lab where we'll be repeating these tests on a McDonald's Happy Meal. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email or talk to me in class. Have a great one. Bye-bye.